yes, it's finally time for this. I said I'd do it, and I will. It's just going to be a short review, but I mean, what the hell, what can I tell you? I'm simple. There are just a few things that I want to touch on here. And I want to say beforehand, all in all, I did enjoy this show quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to the rest. But bear with me. I've seen and heard other people say this, but for the amount of character development that they had to fit into 10 episodes, it does feel a bit rushed, but it doesn't feel too rushed to enjoy. They did as good of a job as they could have with 10 episodes. I'm not going to gripe on that. But there is one thing I have to gripe on first and foremost.
Telling you, the government has a car that runs on water, man.
Where in the world is Stephen Hyde? Look, I know the whole thing about Danny Masterson, and I didn't expect him to walk on set like everybody else did, but he was an integral part of the story back in the day. He was literally their family.
And Stephen, my second son, I adore you. But you know, now that we're staying, maybe you could shave your mustache because, honey, you look like a 40-year-old male prostitute.
He really did become part of their family. And I think it would have made a lot of sense if they had just dropped him a line somewhere. Maybe a letter from prison. Maybe a letter from California. Maybe a letter from wherever the hell he ended up. To explain why he didn't pop up in the show like everyone else, but that he did in fact exist.
I'll be in the basement.
No, you sit.
Oh, sure, when things get ugly, suddenly I'm family.
The trials seem to indicate that Danny Masterson is innocent, but his career is probably over anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you expect him to walk onto the show or not, because he probably won't. But that 90s show has confirmed that it's having a season 2, so maybe they'll drop Stephen Hyde a line later.
Hey, what's the teeny writing on the bottom of the vase say?
What teeny writing?
Stop doing that! Get smarter!
I do think that 90s show did a good job of balancing the general flow of this kind of show, calling back to that 70s show, including, you know, the dementia fever dream stuff.
Stephen, what happened?
What? Nothing. Just somebody, and then the guy said bitch, and there was nothing.
Oh my God! He called me a bitch, and you hit him, and that's what happened, isn't it?
No.
Liar! I am the bitch, and you love me.
Stop staring at me. Quit it. I'm not this guy. Oh, God.
I'll go kick his ass.
So you're gonna be the let's bring him out guy.
The what guy?
There's one on every talk show. The host says, let's bring him out. Everyone boos. Then he says, you don't know me. Have you never seen a talk show? Welcome back. Today, we have Nikki and Trevor. They may look like the perfect couple, but somebody has a problem with that.
That 70s show was notorious for doing stuff like this all the time, and that 90s show actually did a pretty good job of capturing that odd little quirk that 70s show had. But it's more pertaining to the time period of the 90s, you know, when talk shows were all the rage. And I also enjoy the other 90s topical stuff. You see what I mean. They have also upgraded some of their hallucinations to the 1990s.
Yeah, they didn't think that messaging through.
I don't just mean their fun time hallucinating what they want to see, or their talk shows, or their white nights. I mean the, fun ones. You know what I mean.
Oh, here's the kitchen. Wild. Hi.
Clearly.
Remember when it was, this? Yeah, well, now it's, Also, if you haven't figured it out already, this, review, whatever you want to call it, does have some minor spoilers for that 90s show, but I'm sure you've watched the show by now, so here we go. There's a point in that 90s show where Kitty tries to convince her neighbor to dump her current boyfriend so that she can pursue her own life goals. And then...
Now, go. Dump that chump. That's what they say on Ricky Lake.
Oh, damn, he's on. Anyway, if you were worried about them slipping all the cameos into only episode 1, don't worry, that's not what happens. I'm not gonna lie, the majority of them are in the beginning, but a couple of them just keep on happening. Now, before we get into any actual gripes of mine with this show, let's point out just a couple more things I enjoyed.
Guys, I got too close and now I'm stuck in it.
Hold on. Who are you? I'm Jay. Jay Kelso.
No. No way.
I'd rather this dice than that paint.
I'd rather this face than those shoes.
I'd rather this shoes than no hair.
Go to hell. I'll see you there.
I'm not getting in that car tomorrow, and you can't make me.
Oh, you're getting in that car, or my foot is getting in your ass.
I miss you, pal. I love you so much, okay?
There were other things that I enjoyed, but in case you're a lunatic renegade diving into this video without watching that 90s show first, I'm going to try to refrain from spoiling everything. And now, we gotta get into the deep, possibly hate-filled water, just a bit.
It's a good hair day. I said good day.
Alright, I'm sorry if this offends you, but as a storyteller, I absolutely have to touch on
The message.
The message. Now, I don't care where your opinions lie on either side of this endeavor, but I am an author and a comic book artist, and I put a lot of strenuous effort into telling a good story without falling back on social movements for success points. However, stay tuned. I don't have only negative things to say about this, believe me. Interestingly enough, if you look into the marketing of the way these shows tend to go whenever they're pitched in Hollywood or Netflix or what have you, any entertainment venue that is mainstream, usually, nowadays, they can't even get funding for their projects unless they inject the message. So, it stands to reason that without adding the seemingly mandatory gay character, maybe that 90s show wouldn't even exist. But here's the thing about that. When I read up on this before the show came out, I thought the entire show was going to be wokeified. Again, this is not a hate campaign, and this is not me attacking any kind of movement. This is a storyteller hoping for a good story to be told, and I've noticed quite a lot of mediums falling back on this particular series of social movements whenever they run out of ideas at the drawing board, aka, they can't write. It's actually quite annoying to try to get your work noticed when most of the platforms out there only want to hear from you if your work is full of the message. And that is not true of all companies, but it's true of enough of them that is very frustrating for a creator. However, with that 90s show, I was actually pleasantly surprised that it wasn't full of preachy nonsense and guilting all the livelong day. They did have a coming out moment, but it was handled very well and with levity, the way that 70s show would have done it. Although, if I'm being honest, that 70s show was a little more real about this topic, just a touch.
You guys live together?
Yep.
Without any wives or girlfriends?
Yep.
You know what I call guys like you?
Oh, dear.
Still, similarly to Buddy, when he arrived in that 70s show, that 90s show, Ozzy, this kid is hilarious. He's a full, complete person, and his personality isn't token gay character insert here. He's actually really funny and sassy and adorable. I love this kid, and I'm glad that they are not just shoehorning the gay thing as his entire character. Although, hold on, wait a minute. Isn't he, wasn't he, like, getting all hot and bothered by the idea of some guy in the show? And he's 13? Okay, alright. Well, this is... Okay. it's a little weird to have Leia doing that too, because she's the same age as his character. But why are we doing this, Netflix? What? They're little. They're little. Stop it. Stop it. Well, alright, I suppose my basic point is I'm glad they're not falling back on the things you're not allowed to criticize in order to find success. There's a lot of other things going on in this show at the same time that this stuff is, and it's free-flowing and decent. It doesn't have the homey, slightly realer touch that 70s show has, and I don't mean about that one particular topic, I mean about all topics. Because the farther back in entertainment you go, the more real it seems you're allowed to be in your creative expression. But it is a cozy little show, and I do enjoy a lot of parts of it. Although the thing where you're 13 or 14 and you're getting all hot and bothered all the time, can we not do that? Can we not do that? Can't really be surprised though. I mean, Netflix are the same people who thought Cuties was a good idea. Anyway, hopefully when that 90s show comes back, these characters will have had a chance to age about a year. And the way they left the story off, they have the perfect opportunity to do so. I don't usually do reviews of any kind, but I owed it to that 70s show and the whole universe. They're around, and they're abound. I've probably watched this sitcom more times than any other show on the planet, and I love to keep it on whenever I'm working on my own projects like the Supernaturally series. It's got that feel to it, and even though the story takes place in the 70s, that show was made in the actual 90s. So even though it's the 70s, it's got that little 90s touch to it that shows now are not fully going to pull off, even if that's exactly what they're trying to do. Now, I could go on and on about how the character development done for Jackie in the original show was pretty much flushed down the drain in that 90s show, and I could go on and on about other little tidbits that are a little more nitpicky than the things I've listed here. But I think I've hit my big general points, and that's all I really care to hit. But a couple of honorable mentions would be, 1, did you know that the car that runs on water was a real thing? 2, have you ever noticed that when Hyde is in the circle talking about conspiracies, it's utter nonsense, but it makes a lot more sense whenever he's sober? Seriously, listen for it. And number 3, if you're ever working on a story that takes place in the 90s, or the 80s, or the 70s, or even the 60s, that 70s show is absolutely right for you. So my all-in-all synopsis between the two is that 90s show, not bad. Didn't hate it. And I'm looking forward to season 2. But ultimately, that 70s show is what I'm always going to come home to.
Oh, so much drama, right, Mama?
Who are you?
I think he's banging Gwen's mom.
Yes. Yes, I am. Oh, and we had just rekindled the flame to our relationship. I sent him to stamp it out. Oh, cry with me?
Sorry, can't get water from a stone.
Oh, you two are no help. I miss my people.
Maybe this life doesn't even matter, you know? Maybe we're not even here. Or no, maybe I'm here, but you're not. Hello?
I just totally forgot why I was laughing. Isn't that funny?
I'm losing my patience with you, man.
You gotta get with her. I mean, there's nothing more beautiful than when two people fit together perfectly, like two of these potatoes. How did they do this?
Oh, hey, Kelso, I almost forgot. I got you something from Africa for your daughter. Check it out. A genuine plastic rhino horn.
This is awesome. Look, guys, I'm a rhino. Guys, I think it's time we honor all the brain cells that survived the 70s. Despite our best efforts, some of those bastards pulled through. Tonight, they're going down.
Die, brain cells, die! And you're next, liver.
Hey,
Did you guys hear about that car that runs on water? It's got a fiberglass air-cooled engine and it runs on water, man! It's like we never run out of things to talk about down here.
I knew you burnouts would be down here.
You guys, it's almost midnight. Mrs. Foreman is pouring the champagne.
Hey guys, last one upstairs. Has to call Reddit dumbass.
Oh man.